Today's episode is sponsored by Midwest Fire. For more than 20 years, Midwest Fire has been manufacturing high-quality tankers, tanker pumpers, and fire rescue vehicles in the United States and Canada. Keeping firefighters safe while enhancing their capabilities is what they do best. To learn more, go to MidwestFire.com.
This is Jason Corthell from the City of Fairland Fire Department. You're listening to the SA Matters radio show with Dr. Rich Gasaway. The SA Matters mission is simple. They want to help us see the bad things coming and time to avoid bad outcomes.
Hello, and welcome to episode 90 of the Situational Awareness Matters radio show. I'm your host, Rich Gasaway. The purpose of this show is to improve situational awareness and decision-making for individuals and teams who work in high-risk, high-consequence environments. The SA Matters mission is simple: to help you see the bad things coming and time to avoid bad outcomes. I'd like to ask a favor of you. Please visit the SA Matters website and click on the Contact Us link and send me some feedback about the show. I would find it very encouraging to get some feedback and to know that you value the show, know what you like, know what you'd like to see different, what you'd like to be improved upon. Also, if you have ideas for future shows, send the request along as well as your feedback. Thank you. I'm coming to you today from St. George, Utah, where I'm in town to deliver 4 situational awareness programs over 2 days. This is the third time the Utah Winter Fire School has hosted a Situational Awareness Matters tour stop. So thank you to the Utah Valley University and Raleigh Bunch, Dave Owens, Coy Porter, and all the school organizers for the faith and confidence in my message to have me back. A special thanks to Chuck Tandy for getting out of bed at dark 30 in the morning on Sunday to drive me to the airport. Thank you, Chuck. Before I jump into today's feature segment, I want to take just a moment to share a message with you from our sponsor, Midwest Fire, and their president, Sarah Atchison.
Hi, I'm Sarah Atchison, owner of Midwest Fire Equipment and Repair. We are proud to sponsor Dr. Gasaway's Situational Awareness Matters podcast. We share a passion for saving lives and have been working with firefighters to customize cost-effective, multi-purpose fire trucks since 1987. Our trucks are engineered and built to serve you and your community for decades. In order to make the bid process as easy as possible for our customers, we are now listed as a contractor under HGAC BUY. Please call us today to find out how we can streamline the purchasing process for you as a contractor with HGAC. Contact us at 800-344-2059 or visit us at MidwestFire.com. Thank you and enjoy the podcast.
Thank you, Sarah Atchison, and all the staff at Midwest Fire for your awesome commitment to improving first responder safety. I sincerely appreciate your support of my mission. In this episode, we explore the myth of multitasking. If you're the type of person who can work on your notebook, listen to music on your iPod, talk on your cell phone, and text message all at the same time, maybe while driving, this episode is for you. Advances in technology have given us more opportunities to multitask than any other time in human history. We are bombarded with visual and audible stimulation, most of which is at our fingertips. Let's explore the myth of multitasking. Can humans multitask? The answer is yes and no. Okay, the answer is really, it depends. The subconscious brain can multitask. but the conscious brain cannot. What's that mean for you? It means if you are performing an automatic, scripted routine that has been memorized and resides in your subconscious programming, you can perform several of those types of tasks at the same time. So, subconsciously, you can multitask. However, if you are performing new or novel tasks that are not part of the automatic, scripted, subconscious routines, then you must perform that task consciously. And the conscious brain can only perform one task at a time. So consciously, you cannot multitask. Well, it can be dangerous and deceptive to compare the human brain to a computer. Please allow me the latitude to make a rudimentary analogy. When your computer is running, it is performing multiple behind-the-scenes functions, like maintaining an internet connection, while protecting your computer from viruses, while downloading new emails as they arrive. For the most part, unless you open a particular application, you don't even know it's performing those functions. They happen automatically, or in brain parlance, subconsciously. However, you can only work on one application on your computer desktop at a time. You can create a Word document, or input data into an Excel spreadsheet, or construct an email response. But you can only do one of those things at a time. It is impossible for you to do them simultaneously. This is where the multitaskers will become agitated and say, "That's not true. I can do all three. All I have to do is size the windows so that each program can be seen on the same screen, and then I can do all three tasks at the same time." No, you can't. And this is where you get tricked into thinking you can. Think about how you would create a Word document, input data into an Excel spreadsheet, and construct an email. No matter how hard you try, you will only be doing one task at a time. Now, you may switch back and forth from one task to the other task, and you may do it very rapidly, giving you the appearance that you are multitasking, but in fact, you're just single tasking. But you may be doing it in rapid succession back and forth. And this is what your brain does when you're performing multiple conscious tasks, and it gives you the appearance that you are multitasking. Science even has a name for it. They call it interleaving. When you're performing multiple conscious tasks at the same time, what your brain is really doing is switching attention from one task to the other task and then back to the original task, assuming you're only multitasking between two tasks. But there is some good news. Your brain can do that very quickly. It only takes roughly 0.25 of a second for your brain to switch attention between two conscious tasks. The risk is, the more often your brain is switching between conscious tasks, the greater your vulnerability for forgetting exactly where you left off on the previous task. And while your conscious attention is focused on one task, some part of the other task may be changing. If it is a dynamic environment like a fireground or driving, that seems obvious. If that other environment is dynamic, research has demonstrated that you're 50% more likely to forget where you left off, and 50% more likely to miss critical clues and cues while your attention is subverted to the alternate task. Functional magnetic resonance imaging, or fMRI, images of the brain have proven that multitasking at the conscious level is a myth. Researchers have wired subjects to monitoring equipment and have had them perform a conscious task, observing which brain cells handle that particular task. Then the researchers will have the subject stop the first task and perform a second task, again recording which brain cells handled the alternate task. Under the belief that while multitasking, or performing both tasks at the same time, the brain cells that handled each of the tasks would fire simultaneously. That's what researchers initially thought. But they were shocked. That didn't happen. What did happen is the cells that handled one task lit up, and then they went silent. And then the cells that handled the alternate task lit up, and then they went silent. And this happens back and forth in rapid succession, thus called interleaving. But at no point did both groups of cells light up simultaneously, thus proving, scientifically, the brain cannot perform multiple conscious tasks simultaneously. Rather, like your ability to only perform one task at a time on your computer, although you may do it in rapid succession, so does your brain perform just one conscious task at a time. Besides the potential disastrous effects of forgetting where you left off and missed critical clues and cues, there's another potentially catastrophic pitfall here. It can occur when you are performing multiple subconscious tasks and a single conscious task simultaneously, which, by the way, your brain can do. One of the best examples that I can offer is driving a vehicle. Let's say an experienced driver is tooling down the highway at 60 miles per hour. While they're doing that, maybe they're talking on their cell phone. It's not a practice that I would recommend for reasons that will become abundantly clear in a moment. Now, because in this person's state, their legislatures, in their infinite wisdom, have passed a law that requires the drivers of vehicles to use their cell phones hands-free. So this particular driver has an earpiece in. This ensures they are abiding by the letter of the law and being, quote-unquote, safer. Right? Hardly. Earpiece or no earpiece, they're still multitasking. But their multitasking is different, right? An experienced driver can operate a vehicle using their subconscious programming. They know this to be true because they have personal experience. On numerous occasions, they've driven to a destination, arrived safely, only to realize that they were now completely unaware of some portions of their trip because they were zoned out, which is the layman's term of saying that their brain was driving the vehicle using subconscious programming while their conscious brain was focused on something other than driving. It is factual that an experienced driver can operate a vehicle mostly subconsciously. The problem is, the more this is done successfully, the more likely the driver is to forget that they are operating in a very dangerous, dynamically changing environment where things can change quickly. An environment where the processing of clues and cues of changing conditions is a constant requirement. But they're good at it. They know this because they've never had an accident. So long as everything about the trip is routine, they'll probably be able to get away with doing this form of multitasking without any consequence. But let's say that while they're driving and talking on their cell phone, another inattentive driver, probably talking on their cell phone, doesn't see the first driver coming and pulls right out in front of them. In that instant, driving the vehicle switches from being a scripted, subconscious, routine task to being a very unscripted and conscious task. The driver in the collision course must react, and there's no time to spare. Their brain switches its conscious attention from talking on the cell phone to reacting to the immediate action needed to avoid the accident. The switch in attention, as I noted previously, only takes about 0.25 of a second. That's very fast. Before the driver can react, their brain has to take in the visual stimuli, the vehicle coming into the pathway of that car, process it, stop thinking about the cell phone conversation, meaning the brain cells that are being used for the telephone conversation have to stop functioning, and the brain cells that tell the driver how to react to the obstacle in front of them need to get to work. Again, this only takes about 1/4 of a second. The problem is, at 60 miles per hour, the vehicle will travel 22 feet before the driver's brain even registers the fact that a car has pulled out in front of them. This sometimes is referred to as reaction time. As we bring these lessons to the fireground, you can now begin to understand how much risk is associated with the belief that you can consciously perform multiple tasks simultaneously. Research further suggests that the more stimulus-rich the multitasking environment is, for example, multiple visual and audible stimuli, the slower the response to refocus conscious attention can be on another task. Let's go back to the driving example. People who are critical of cell phone laws argue that talking on the cell phone while driving is the same as talking to someone who's sitting in the car having a similar conversation. On the surface, that might appear to be plausible arguments, until you break down what's happening in the processing of audible stimulation. If you have a passenger in your car and you're carrying on a conversation and someone pulls out in front of you, the conversation is going to stop immediately because both of you are going to be consciously aware of the dire circumstances that you're facing. It's important to point out, this does not speed up the brain's processing of the information. 0.25 of a second is still needed to switch attention. However, if you're having a conversation on your cell phone when the other car pulls out in front of you, the person on the other end of the phone call is completely unaware of what has just happened, and they may just keep talking. And for a few brief extra nanoseconds, your brain will keep on listening to the person on the other end of the phone. This slows the reaction time. The same thing happens on the fireground in a stimulus-rich environment, where there are many things to see and hear, most of which will not cease at the moment you need to refocus your attention onto something else. This will, as in the previous example, slow reaction time. The solution starts with avoiding the belief that you can effectively perform multiple conscious tasks simultaneously. Denial of these scientifically proven facts will not make you an effective multitasker. It will only make you more vulnerable. Let me explain how. When you do something incompetent, whatever that be, in this case multitasking conscious tasks, there's a good chance you'll get away with it, meaning get lucky and avoid a bad outcome. If you're lucky enough and get away with it enough, that may give you the confidence to try it again and again and again. The second time you perform the incompetent task, meaning conscious multitasking, you are again lucky enough not to have a bad outcome. This again gives you more confidence that you're good at it. And so you begin a spiraling, dangerous cycle, not based on skill, but rather based on luck. Incompetence without consequence builds confidence. Those who have attended my Mental Management of Emergencies program, where I share the lessons of brain science for the benefit of the fire service, have heard me share this lesson numerous times in the context of fireground-related casualty incidents. Unfortunately, by thinking you're a good multitasker, having successfully done so without consequence many times, you develop a level of confidence that may lead to a catastrophe. Don't be fooled by your lucky outcomes, whether that's been while driving and talking on a cell phone or while multitasking on the fireground. After awareness of your vulnerabilities, what else can you do to reduce the pitfalls of multitasking in stimulus-rich fireground environments? The next thing you can do is practice and develop your skills so that you become subconscious, automatic, scripted performance of routines. As you practice fireground skills and training in realistic simulations, the ability to perform them will convert to subconscious programmed skills. It's very important, however, to continue practicing these skills, or the ability to perform them using your subconscious programming may deteriorate. The next thing you can do is memorize scripts that represent a task list. For example, if asked to say the ABCs forward as fast as possible, the average person can successfully accomplish this task in about 1.5 to 2.5 seconds, depending on whether they stop to take a breath. It's automatic, memorized task. However, ask someone to say their ABCs backwards as fast as they can and watch what happens. Unless they have rehearsed and memorized it, you will witness an amazing display of the difference between subconscious performance of an automatic task and the conscious performance of a novel task. The latter person can take up to 50 times longer to complete the task without errors, and they are many times more likely to make mistakes, repeated mistakes, far more likely to become angry and frustrated, and may even give up on the task altogether. I know, I've conducted this experiment many times with the results to prove it. The last thing I recommend, which I acknowledge is not always possible on the fireground, but it's not impossible either, is to share your mental workload. The more conscious tasks you can shed to someone else to do for you, the less likely you are to fall victim to the multitasking errors. This may include having someone monitor radio traffic, scribe important information for you, or simply be a second set of eyes to watch for changing conditions. If you've experienced or witnessed a near miss and would like to have a platform to share your lessons learned with others, please contact me by visiting the SAMatters.com site and clicking on the Contact Us link on the top of the homepage. Think about this for a moment. The lessons learned from your near-miss event could save the life of another first responder. If you want to share your experience, contact me. If you haven't subscribed to the SA Matters radio podcast yet, please take a moment to go over to iTunes or Stitcher Radio. And while you're there, please consider leaving some feedback for the show. And if you like the show, give it a 5-star review. This is really important because it inspires me to work harder for you. A lot of time and effort goes into producing and recording and editing the show and the lineup of the guests each week. Your feedback lets me know that you appreciate the show, and I appreciate that. I ran a holiday sale on all SA Matters books and videos over the November-December time period. If you go to samatters.com/holiday sale, you would have found bargains ranging from 20 to 40% off the books and videos. There were some great deals there. The sale ended December 18th, but I got some feedback from departments, asked if I could extend the sale to after the new year so they could have access to their new budget. So I extended the sale to January 15th. So if you're interested in getting 20% off of books or 40% off of videos, go to samatters.com/holiday sale. And that will end January 15th. And while I'm on the topic of books and videos, I'm really excited to announce the release of the third book in the Situational Awareness Matters series. This book contains 30 lessons for improving first responder situational awareness and decision-making under stress. Over 300 copies of the book have been sold on the website and through Amazon.com. Thanks to everybody for that. If you know of a business that might be interested in supporting the Situational Awareness Matters mission with a sponsorship, I'm seeking a few select sponsors to help offset the cost of running the website, social media, podcast, YouTube channel, monthly newsletter, and all the other free content. The website has enjoyed over 1 million visitors who have downloaded over 4 million pages of content. New blog articles are posted every Friday. The newsletter is distributed to thousands of first responders each month. The podcast that you're listening to has new episodes posted every Tuesday and has been downloaded over 75,000 times. There are also opportunities to sponsor webinars and live events. So if you know of a business that would like to get their message in front of my visitors, subscribers, and supporters, ask them to contact me through the SA Matters website Contact Us link on the homepage. Here's hoping we can pick up an additional sponsor or two, and we can keep the free content flowing. And thank you to Midwest Fire, our first and currently only sponsor of the podcast show. Without your generous support, this show could not be offered. I want to take a moment to thank the departments and organizations that have hosted recent Situational Awareness Matters tour stops. Your efforts to bring this valuable and powerful training on situational awareness and high-risk, high-consequence decision-making to your members and to others in your region are greatly appreciated. The International Association of Fire Chiefs Company Officer Leadership Symposium in Phoenix, Arizona, the Munhall Volunteer Fire Bureau in Munhall, Pennsylvania, the Peters Township Fire Department in McMurray, Pennsylvania, and the Savage Fire Department in Savage, Minnesota, and of course, the Utah Winter Fire School, where I am now here in beautiful St. George, Utah. If you're interested in joining me for an upcoming Situational Awareness Matters tour stop, on January 13th, I'll be at the University of North Carolina, Charlotte campus for the Fire and Emergency Services Leadership Institute. January 16th at the Iosco County Firefighters Association in East Tawas, Michigan. On January 24th at the South Carolina Firefighters Association Winter Safety Symposium in Columbia, South Carolina. On February 1 and 2 at the Alaska Fire Chiefs Association Conference in Juneau, Alaska. February 6th at the Enfield Fire Department in Enfield, Connecticut. February 7th at the Ellesmere Fire Department in Del Mar, New York. February 9th the Grand Rapids Fire Department in Minnesota. February 10th, the Eveleth Fire Department in Minnesota. February 11th, the Lutsen Fire Department in Minnesota. February 16th, the West Metro Fire Department in Minnesota. February 17th, the Windham Fire Department in Minnesota. February 18th, the Tracy Fire Department in Minnesota. So I'm doing kind of a Minnesota tour there. February 25th, the Addison Fire Department in Texas. February 26th through 28th, the NSA Winter Conference in Austin, Texas. And on March 1, I will be keynoting the opening of the Los Angeles County Fire Department's Fire Officer Conference. If you're interested in attending an upcoming Situational Awareness Matters tour stop, head over to the SA Matters website and click on the blue box on the right side of the homepage that's labeled Upcoming Event Schedule. Here's hoping there's a tour stop near you and we'll get a chance to meet up. If you're interested in hosting a Situational Awareness Matters tour stop in 2016 for your department or association, contact me through the website and we'll get something set up for you. Here's a tip on how to host a program at a reduced cost. I schedule many what I call companion programs. These are programs on adjoining days to other programs. So if you see I'm delivering a program within a couple hours of where your department or association is, and you'd like to be a tag-along companion program, contact me. You can save as much as 20% off the program cost by being a companion to an existing program. If you're not a member of the SA Matters community of learners yet, please consider joining. There are over 5,000 members associated with us here on SA Matters, sharing ideas on how to improve situational awareness and high-risk decision-making, how to train members to be critical thinkers and resilient problem solvers. Membership is free. When you sign up, I'll send you a special report I've created for the new members called 25 Best Practices for Improving First Responder Safety. If you're not a member yet, head over to the SA Matters website, click on the red box on the right-hand side of the homepage. It says Free Membership. You can also get connected with me on social media by following @RichGasaway or @SA_Matters on Twitter. That's @RichGasaway or @SA_Matters on Twitter. The SA Matters Twitter community is fast approaching 17,000 followers of our mission there. Thank you for that. You can follow me on Facebook, on SA Matters on Facebook, and you can also go and join our private Facebook group, facebook.com/groups/SA Matters. I've got a good discount running there on my new book, 50% off. You can get the discount code when you join the private Facebook group. Well, that's it. Episode 90 is complete. Thank you to our podcast sponsor, Midwest Fire. Thank you to all of our live event hosts. And thank you, our listeners, for sharing some of your valuable time with me today. I really appreciate your support of the SA Matters mission. Be safe out there, and may the peace of the Lord and strong situational awareness be with you always.
You've been listening to the Situational Awareness Matters radio show with Dr. Richard B. Gasaway. If you are interested in learning more about situational awareness, human factors, and decision-making under stress, visit samatters.com. If you are interested in booking Dr. Gasaway for an upcoming event, visit his personal website at richgasaway.com.